And we have to end the news, but before we go, this one, we take you to the Ashanti regional capital of Kumasi. And the World Health Organization says leaders of some countries have suggested detection of antibodies to SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, could serve as a basis for immunity passport or risk-free certificates. Now, the development also means individuals could travel or return to work, assuming they are protected against reinfection. But how is that going to impact the world generally? Virologists and immunologists at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Dr. Mohammed Mutuchelu, discusses the pros and cons of such a move.
If your neighbor is infected with COVID-19, and my neighbor is infected, and 90% of us are immune to the disease, then it means 4 out of every 5 people come into contact with a person having COVID-19 will go unscathed. That means the disease is put on a tight leash. So you need about 70 to 90% of the population to be immune to achieve herd immunity. And so we are free. Everybody is free. And therefore we need a certificate. Or we don't.
Immunity passports, if you remember, for yellow fever, when you're about traveling, they said, well, go and get vaccinated, and then you are certified. So when you get to that country, they know that you are immune. So it's something similar that people are calling for COVID-19.
Are you immune for life once you recover from COVID-19? Well, it was reported in South Korea, 260 patients tested positive several days after recovery. And such reports have come from China, Italy, some about 70 days after recovery.
We are aware, all of us, you know it, I know it, that once somebody recovers from COVID-19, the person naturally gains immunity to the virus. People think that once they have recovered, that is it, they never will be infected any longer, but there is no evidence. And that's why they are calling for people to be certified. Now, when they are certified, there are advantages that when they have the immunity passport. For instance, frontline workers. There are a lot of frontline workers with underlying illnesses. We can move these people to backline and put those who are certified, who have recovered from the viruses, to the front line, because the probability that they would succumb to COVID-19 is very thin. Then we want companies to go back to work. So if there are people within those companies who recovered from COVID-19, we could certify them for them to go about their duty normally, so that these companies survive, and so on. So there are advantages. There's a big but there. The caveat there is that there is no guarantee that once you are infected with COVID-19, you are immune for life, like for measles and rubella. You know, for measles and rubella or chickenpox, once you survive, you are immune for life. That's not the same for COVID-19. It is still not documented that people who have recovered are immune for life and hence do not pose threats to their neighbors or to their surrounding communities. So that is the caveat. That is one. Another thing is that when you have certified people, then they begin to disregard the public health protocols that the government has put in place. They say, oh, we have immunity, so we want to go and gather. In doing so, they flout the regulations and will spread. You have to measure the levels of antibodies before you would know, you would establish a titer or levels that are protective. That has not been established yet. And another disadvantage of using immunological assays are that they do cross-react. So maybe COVID-19 antibodies, instead of detecting specific COVID-19 antibodies, serological assays or immunodiagnosis will be detecting MERS-CoV antibodies, which we don't need, or SARS antibodies.
A virus, like the flu virus, mutates over time. So antibodies produced for the previous infection can only provide protection for some time. If SARS-CoV-2, the virus which causes COVID-19, behaves like the other siblings, MERS-CoV or SARS-CoV, then we expect protection from few months to some years. But it can't be for life. To have immunity passport or not to have immunity passport, let science lead the way. My name is Kwesi Deborah for JoyNews.
And the key thing is to keep protecting yourself. We're doing our best. We're trusting God that we will be fine. This is still the AM show. We're going to go on a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at what the newspapers are reporting and what the online portals have as well. You want to join us right after this.